Thinking about leaving your soul-sucking 9 to 5 job, one of the biggest struggles I see people, especially as women, face is the idea of having that safety net, that enticing perks and benefits, and listening to that head trash of what will people think if I leave. I totally get it, and I've been where you are. That's why I created a free guide to help you if you're thinking about putting in that notice. It's called Unlocking Your Exit Plan. Discover 5 things you need to do before leaving your 9 to 5. This guide is filled with worksheets and steps, so you will have hand-holding along the way. You can download your copy in the link in the show notes, and again, it's totally free. Now back to today's episode. Hey there, let's face it, today's internet world is so saturated and everyone is fighting for that number one spot to be visible. It is no longer about running ads and having thousands of people on your email list. It is about building relationships and networking with others to grow your business and become visible. Hi, my name is Candace. I'm a podcast launch strategist and I help service-based business owners develop and deliver their message to the world by using platforms like podcasting and bringing valuable content to those who need to hear what they have to say. Welcome to the Hello C.S. Dorsey Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Hello C.S. Dorsey Podcast. I am so excited to have this guest on. I have Alex, which is the game developer of Dog Spawn. Hi, Alex. How are you doing today?
Hey there. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Awesome. So could you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So I'm Alex, and I designed a board game. It's called Dog Spawn. It is a story about rescue dogs finding their forever homes. So it's for 2 to 6 players, and you get to choose between, right now, 8 adorable dogs to be, and then you collect the attributes or the cards that you need to be adopted into one of the forever homes. And it's different in that the game, allows everyone can be adopted when you're playing. So there's not like a loser, right? And everybody has like a happily ever after when you find your forever home. And that's what we've put together. In September 2020, we went to Kickstarter and crowdfunded this idea. So we've raised over $30,000 to make this happen. We are being printed right now, and crossing our fingers, we will be shipping out to our backers and our pre-orders in summer of this year, 2021.
Awesome. That is awesome. It's just in time for Christmas, right?
Just in time for Christmas. Definitely just in time for everybody to get back to the game table, playing some board games, maybe meeting a new furry family member, right? That some of your friends may have gotten in the past year or so. So yes, looking very much forward to it.
That is so amazing. I love the idea. So everybody's probably going to be like, boo, Candace, but I'm not a dog fan. I like the little dogs. I like the Yorkies and the smaller dogs. I'm not a regular sized dog fan. But if you know me, I am a cat lover, but I'm not going to hate on the dogs, but I like them. I don't know if I throw eggs at me or anything.
Not at all. Not at all. So that's actually the number one question I get whenever I mention the game or pitch the game. Why isn't it about cats? And, for me, my experience growing up, I just had a dog and I've been around more dogs than I've been around cats. So it was more natural, more authentic for me to create a story that was around dogs finding a forever home because I adopted my dog. That is to say, I have now met many, many rescue cats. I think I have a better appreciation and understanding of like cats and cat people. And so with, maybe in the future, we can have cats bond. Obviously it wouldn't just be a switch of the art because in our game, you evaluate and you earn obedience points. You would never evaluate getting a cat based on how obedient they are. So there are a few changes we would have to make, but certainly, who knows what the future may hold.
Yeah, I know cats can be unpredictable sometimes. I know, sometimes if they scratch you, that means they love you. If they don't want to be bothered with you, that means they love you. So they are very unpredictable. And yeah, I get it. I completely get it. You would definitely have to like sit with a actual like diehard cat, person to, develop a game like that. So that's really smart that you went with something that you
Right.
already know and familiar with. So I like that. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So let's talk about the inspiration behind starting your business. I know you touched on it a little bit, but what was that like for you?
Yeah. So my day job is management consulting, working with high tech companies doing mergers and acquisitions. It is very demanding. It is very fulfilling, but also at the same time, when I came to the holiday dinner table with my friends and my family, it was like, what do I bring? Right? Let's bring some joy. Let's bring some fun. And I've always been the friend or the uncle that brings the board games. What I found was that there were no games that I could play with kind of the age range that was at my holiday table, and I wanted to find something that we could all enjoy that didn't require screens or that would get us away from screens that we could enjoy within that hour and a half before dinner's ready, or just a way for us to connect after dinner too. And then I also do work with a lot of rescues in my local area. And if you can't tell, I talk a lot. So they always put me in front of people who are potential adopters. And, the conversations that I have with those people who are considering adopting a dog lent itself into this story about rescues, adoption, responsible dog ownership. And that's how I kind of put it all together. And so that's really, to answer your question around like that inspiration, the why, like it's just because I didn't see a game that was just like this. I wanted to create something tangible, something fun, and I went for it.
I love it. Yeah, this is really good because, a lot of people, they have an idea and they think about it. They see that there's a need, but some people don't go through with it. They don't follow through with it, and they're thinking, oh, well, I don't think nobody will like this, or I don't think nobody will buy this. And then, you never
Mm-hmm.
see, it come to fruition. So I love the fact that you had an idea from based on your own experience, because we used to do the board games too back in the day. No screen, we didn't have no phones or
Mm-hmm.
anything.
That's right.
That was
That's
family
right.
time, and it was so fun. It
Mm-hmm.
was so fun,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really
Do you have a story about like your family or like that you still tell to this day about your family or your friends experiencing with a board game?
kind of in a way. In like around Christmas time, we will all go to my auntie house because she had the biggest house, and she will buy my cousin these games. And what we would do is we will actually play those games. And our favorite game that we will always play was it was called Gestures. It was kind of like charades, but it was like in five
Mm.
cards, and you had to put the card in like
Mm-hmm.
this, like in acting, they say cut
The
or,
black bag. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to hit it and a timer would go off. And you had to hurry up and do the charade, whatever was on the card, and your team members will have to call it out and say what it is before the card drop
Mm-hmm.
into the board or the toy or whatever. And then you had to go
Right.
on to the next one. So it give you so many minutes to do it. It was so fun.
Exactly. Exactly. See, and these are the conversations, these are the stories that I really want my nephews and niece to have with me. I'm not going to talk to them in 3 years or 5 years, right? About, oh, remember that time I showed you a video or that meme that you shared or you know what I mean? There's just a lack of connection there when all you're doing is interacting and showing each other what you saw on the internet, right? You're not building or creating new memories because all you're doing is reflecting kind of what else is out there. So for me, it was about finding tangible family time, family activity, family engagement, right? And in our game, when you play a card and you're done with your turn, everyone at the table, pay attention, right? And let me tell you, when I tested it with my family and somebody was on their phone, as soon as we were all barking at them, oh, you better believe they got back in that game. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness, you're bringing back so many memories. Or you have that one family member, like especially when we used to play Monopoly, You had that one family member that was
Mhm.
essentially the banker, but was actually stealing the money. So it was stealing the money.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was so funny. Yeah.
It's still in the money. That's
Stealing the money from
hilarious.
Monopoly.
Yeah.
And I
And
love,
so, for us, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
yeah.
When we're playing, in our game, there's no money to steal, right? We're all dogs. So I hope that, that family member, like, don't worry, you can still come and play, but there's nothing to steal. And dogs are very honest creatures. So we discourage stealing. So
Oh my goodness. Hey there, C.S. Dorsey here. We thrive on awesome feedback from our listeners because you make the show. Now, I would like to ask you to take a moment to comment, share, give a rating, or share your hello moment. Once you've done that, take a snapshot of the review and tag me on Instagram at csdorsey_hello. I cannot wait to hear from you. So during the development process, could you tell everyone, was there a time during this where you had like a hello moment?
yes. And I think it really came about when I took it seriously. So I started this idea in 2017, had lots of fits and starts. And to your earlier point about that fear, that like naysaying that was mental about, nobody's going to like this, or should I really be pursuing this? When I really kind of flipped it on its edge and said, I'm taking this seriously, and worked out the game mechanics, the design, kind of the intent and the story. And then I went and was working to try to hire an art team. I got to meet that illustrator in person and explain the game, explain, this is how I want it to work, how I want it to feel, what's the vibe, help me bring it to life. And then we sat together, she and I, at a game store. And obviously this is in the before times, but we sat at the game shop, and people who were walking through, we were like, we have a prototype of a game. Would you like to play it? And we just had hit after hit after hit of people who did not know us, had never met us, in a different state from where I was from, saying, this game is great. When is it going to be ready for me to buy? And I was like, well, give me some time. But, and that was in 2019. We developed it, worked on it till 2020, and it's gone off, and it's happening now. So that was my hello moment when I was out of state, when I was at a game store game table, and complete strangers, right? 3 sets of complete strangers said, yeah, I'm in. That was my hello moment.
Yes, and right it should have been. Yeah, that's awesome. It's so amazing when you develop something and people love it. And that's like the greatest feeling in the world, I bet.
Absolutely. It's almost indescribable, like what that's like, to really say that, something that you've put time and energy into, and like you kind of have this like expected experience for them, and it hits. It's probably what, writers, authors, screenwriters, playwrights, what they feel when they move their audience. And I think that was when I had that moment.
That's awesome. So I know it's in the early stages. I mean, you're currently working your 9 to 5, your full-time job. What's your plan like when this gets big? Like when it goes live? Like, I know we mentioned maybe having a cat bonding game.
Yes.
But do you plan on having like an extension to this game or having
Yeah.
like licenses to do other things for this game?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. So Bond itself my intent is that it would be like a game system. And what I mean by that is, if you and I were to sit down and say, okay, we're going to play, you mentioned it already. So we're going to play, Game of Thrones Monopoly. We're going to play, Big Bang Theory Monopoly, or Pokemon Monopoly. You know what you're getting into because you've played that system. It's just that theme is going to be a little bit different, right? So Bond is itself a game system, right? Kind of a way that the games and the cards kind of play out. And of course, dogs is our first theme, our first story. We would love to do Cats Bond. We would love to do, in addition to that, other dog breeds. Because as I mentioned, there's only 8 dogs in it so far. And you mentioned you like the small ones. So the small dogs that we have right now are the Pomeranian and the Boston Terrier. But we have designs for the Chihuahua, for the Yorkie, for the Silky Terrier, for the teacup poodle. We've got like designs for it. And if we can get this kind of first block done, right, make this the board game for any, dog lover, rescue lover, people who love board games, families, right? If we can get that to be a hit, then we can expand out. And I mean, how many dog breeds are there, right, that deserve our love and could use some attention? We have a long way to go with Dogs Bond to kind of expand that out. And then as far as Bond goes, our mission is to change the conversation about rescue, about adoption, about responsible animal ownership. And I think that there's a long way to go on that too. So that's kind of, big picture, lofty goal plans. And then to your question about when does it turn into a business, I don't know that. I don't know when that will happen. This is my first game design and my first foray into the industry. So I'm still learning so much. I mean, there are folks who have turned, board game design into their full-time profession, but they're doing a ton for the industry. They're writing blogs, they're doing podcasts, they're doing YouTube reviews, they're, selling t-shirts, they're doing a lot of stuff in that area. For me, I like being a game designer. I like being a, developer. And maybe that's just kind of my lot, it'll take me, a few years to develop each game. But as each game comes out, it's like, hey, but there's a lot of love, a lot of passion into each one of these projects. So, but who knows what the future may hold? I mean, if the game hits worldwide success, you could have, tons of other themes, maybe even some licensing deals. That could change the whole conversation.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely see that happening. Yeah. So what does your family think about the game? Like, have they played it, or like, what do they think about it overall?
Yeah, my family love them to pieces, and they have been so supportive of this. They've always known that I'm going to try something new, something that nobody has done before. Like in our friends group, in our family group, like I'm the one who's going to go jump off the cliff first, And so they have supported me through, the first iterations of the game when it was literally on Post-its and index cards. Like, and I was just like, hey, try this out, see what this is, and now they've seen it all the way through to this success. They are backing me 100%. They find me really interesting, conversations. They're helping us out by doing, Google searches for board game awards, board game diversity conversations. Because as an Asian American game designer, I'm not the norm. So right now, I think it's about 80% white male that are doing game design. So a lot of people are saying, hey, we'd love to have some representation, some inclusivity, voicing at the table, and so I get emails and I get, referenced and nominated to do lots of things now. And so, yeah, my family's been great.
That's awesome. That's really good that you have that support system and that they're helping you along the way. So I really, really like that family. And of course, you designed this game specifically for that, for family time. So it's like, you better be on Google search.
That's
this
right.
is all for you.
That's right. If you, and if you go to www.dogsbondgame.com, you can actually see our video, like the 2-minute commercial about the project that really got us. And of course, the game was featured on BuzzFeed and like some other places. But in the video, that's my family. Like that's my nephews and niece. Like that's who I'm playing with. That's who I featured in the video. My beautiful and intelligent wife, she's helping us on, the back end stuff. She's helping us, figure out international customs and shipping and all that other stuff. So it's a family affair, no matter how much I I said, don't worry, I got this. Like they've put their hands up and they said, yeah, we'll help, and it's been great.
That's awesome. That's really good. So, any last minute advice you have for our listeners out there?
Jump. So this is, something that I've heard people say. You got to find a time, a date, a goal where you will be uncomfortable enough to jump, and set that goal. For us, it was August of 2020, because that's when we knew we wanted to take that jump and go to Kickstarter and be vulnerable to the whole of the internet and say, this is our idea. Do you like it? Would you like a copy? And, I think that there is, there's no substitute for learning while you're doing it. I'm a very analytical person. I really try to minimize those mistakes. But when you're trying something new, be brave, be bold, and jump.
I love it. Be brave, be bold, and jump. Yes, I love it so much. So, so where can everyone find you?
Yeah, so we are at www.dogsbondgame.com. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Dogs Bond Game. So you can check out, some behind the scenes stuff. You can learn more about us, have a conversation, send us a message, and if you are interested in supporting the game, supporting a small independent game publisher like ourselves, check out dogsbondgame.com. Also too, just so, it's also open if you know of any real life rescues or real life, rescue volunteers. We are already backing about 25 different rescues in the United States. We are going to open that up so that rescue organizations worldwide can work with us and leverage us as a fundraising tool, because we map to that shared mission to improve the lives of animals. And we are very dedicated to supporting all those people, all those organizations that are volunteer led or, are led by people with really, really big hearts. And that's what folks can do for us.
Awesome. That's great. That's amazing. Well, thank you, Alice, for coming on the show today. I really enjoyed it, and I love the subject, and this is something totally different than what I normally do or have on the show. And I love that you brought something new and something else to the podcast, because a lot of times I have a lot of online entrepreneurs or coaches that come on, but to have someone in this particular niche is really amazing, because a woman listens to know and understand that it's a whole world out there, and to have you come on and bring that this specific niche to the podcast has really been amazing. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Candace, for having me.